This right now, what I'm doing is extremely unnatural. I'm sitting on a chair, and the human body is not designed to sit on chairs, especially not for extended hours a day. The thing is, we wake up in the morning, we sit down, we have breakfast. We sit down in our car, we get to our office, we sit down again. Most of the time we sit down when we eat lunch, we get back in our car, we sit down, we get home, we watch telly, and we sit down. What does this turn into? It turns into bad posture, rounded shoulders, really sore hips, lower back pain, and immobility. Most of us today can't even touch our toes, and that's a basic movement that every human should be able to do. One thing we all know we need to do is we need to stretch. So today I want to show you 10 essential everyday stretches that you can be doing at the office or at home to increase that flexibility, decrease the risk of those injuries, and live a happier and more mobile lifestyle. So the first thing we're going to stretch is our traps, which is up here. So if you sit at a computer for long hours a day and you're the type of person that gets tension headaches and really bad headaches at the end of the day, or find yourself constantly rubbing your temples, a lot of the time it's not stress, and it could be quite a bit of tightness inside your trap. So to stretch that, what we're going to do, make sure sitting in good posture or staying in good posture. Grab the side of your head and bring your ear down towards your shoulder, nice and slowly, and hold that position, and you should feel a nice big stretch down your trap. So if you get a lot of tension headaches, make sure you do this one regularly. You can do this one multiple times throughout the day. Also, if you want to increase the stretch, just slowly lift your head down and then continue the stretch. One mistake people make is they tilt their whole body with the stretch. We're not trying to yank our head up. Just nice and slowly, good posture, nice and straight, and stretch. The second stretch we're going to do is our chest. So if you're the type of person that does work on a computer for long hours again, and you're rounding your shoulders like this, we really want to increase our flexibility in our chest and open up the chest. So what we're going to do, finding a wall or a flat surface, you want your elbow the same height as your shoulder, not too high and not too low. Same height. We're going to press all our weight against the wall, and we're going to rotate our body around, and we should feel the stretch all down our shoulder and our chest. Feel the things, grabbing up nice and high, holding the stretch, nice and low, hold the stretch. If you don't have a wall, here's how to do a good chest stretch on the ground. All I'm going to do is put my elbow same height as my shoulder, make the exact same position I did on the wall, put all my weight down towards the ground, keep my shoulder flat, and rotate your body onto that arm. Now I'm going to show you a lower back stretch. The reason I'm doing standing and on the floor, because if you're in an office or you're walking around, so you don't need to get onto the floor to do the stretches, you can do them in your office standing up. If you suffer from lower back pain, this is a good one to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lean against the wall, back nice and flat, my feet are slightly outwards. All I'm going to do is just tilt my whole body weight to one side whilst keeping my back nice and flat towards the wall. You should feel a big stretch down your lower back. Next we're going to do our hamstrings. So if you're going to do a kneeling hamstring stretch, we want to come into a lunge position like this. We're going to sit our hips back and straighten that leg out, bringing that body weight down. You should feel a big stretch in your hamstrings. Have your hands down the side for balance. You don't want to have your leg completely straight to feel the stretch. Try and feel it. We feel the knee slightly bent, and really sit those hips back to open up your hamstrings. Now if you're at work and you can't get on the floor to do a stretch, all you're going to do, find a table or surface. It might look strange in the office place. Stick your leg up there and lean over, and again feel that stretch in your hamstrings. If you've got really tight hamstrings, it can lead to lower back problems over time, so you want to make sure your hamstrings are as flexible as possible. Next we're going to go into a hip flexor stretch. If you sit down on a chair all day, our hip flexors get really tight and they never get moved from this position. So we need to stretch them. And if you're also a person that walks and runs regularly, you might find that you get quite a bit of achy pain inside your hips. So this is a great stretch to do. All I'm going to do, the same thing as the hamstring stretch, come into a lunge position, push my hips forward. I should feel that stretch on the inside of the hip flexor. If you're feeling comfortable, hands on the ground. Also, if you want to increase it a couple other ways, here, leaning backwards. And we're in the office and we don't want to get on the ground again, a way to do it with a chair. Hands on the chair, we're going to step 1 foot back, 1 foot to the side of the chair, and sink our hip in. Again, you should feel that on the inside of that hip flexor. Next, I want to show you a long hip flexor stretch and a bit of a quad stretch. Same thing, go into that lunge position. Once you're here, we're going to put that opposite hand down, really stretch back, reach around, and grab that back leg and sink into that stretch. Next, we're going to do our inner groin. A lot of people are really tight in here, and if you're stiff in here, if you try and turn and move wrong, a lot of times you can injure your knees and your hips. So a good basic stretch for this, a lot of people find really tough because they're quite tight. Just knees out, nice and wide, big stretch inside there. When you're ready, sink down to your elbows, and just sink your hips in. Next, we're going to stretch our glutes. A couple different ways to stretch your glutes depending on your range and your flexibility. The first one, the most popular one, is a pigeon pose. If you're quite tight in glutes, this one might not be very comfortable. You want this foot to go flat on the ground, and we're going to walk that back leg out and really try and sink our hip into the ground. If that was not comfortable for you because you're quite tight, another variation, lay it on your back, one foot on top of your knee, grabbing your shin off the other leg and really pushing this knee away. And now we're going to do a spinal rotation stretch. So for this one, lean on our back. We're going to put one arm completely flat on the ground. Keep your shoulder glued to the ground. Opposite arm, opposite leg goes completely flat. Other knee is going to come up and around our body. We're going to pull that knee as close to the ground as possible without that shoulder lifting. You don't want your shoulder to lift up with your body, keep it glued and really feel that stretch. And for our last stretch, we're going to do our calves. So if you're the type of person that's trying to get into fitness and you're starting to get shin splints because you're overusing your legs by running and walking too much, then your calves can be quite tight. So other than foam rolling, you really need to make sure you stretch them before and after you go for a walk or a run. So a good down on the floor stretch is your downward dog. Hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips, on our toes, pushing our hips upwards and sinking in. If you don't have the flexibility like I don't, bend those knees and really sink your chest in to feel the stretch down your calves and your hamstrings. And for a good standing one, all I want to do is just put my foot on a ledge and press my heel downwards, and you should feel it in the back of that calf. And there we have it, 10 essential stretches that you can do at home and in your office, and a bunch of variations to play with depending on your level. So the thing is, being immobile and inflexible is linked to a lot of different, a lot of injuries, a lot of surgeries in the future. So it's really important to be as flexible as you can. If you're the type of person that says, I can never touch my toes, I've never been able to touch my toes, don't worry, I was in the same boat. About 4 years ago, when I tried to touch my toes, I was here. Literally could barely get my hands fully past my knees. Now, after 4 years of stretching, martial arts, and getting into weightlifting and fitness, I can now easily touch my toes, almost completely flat hand on the ground. So the thing is, just because you haven't been able to touch your toes in the past doesn't mean you are unable to in the future. So if you keep stretching, one day you'll easily be able to touch your toes. And I'm not the type of person that stretches a lot, I just stretch enough. So make sure you're stretching. Thank you so much for checking out the 28th edition of the Strong Happy Healthy Magazine. I really hope you can take some of this away with you. A lot of people say to me that they really wish they could stretch daily, but they just don't know where to start. So there's 10 everyday essential stretches to get you started. Once you're started, you know what to work on, so then you can start adding more and more stretches into your everyday routine. So right now I've got an awesome PDF set up for you guys, so in the link above, or if you're on my website in the opt-in form below, all you need to do is give me your details and you'll get sent to your email this Love Your Body handbook that has a bunch of awesome recipes in it, and even has my everyday essential stretching chart in it as well, right here. And you can get that to take away with you and use as a guideline at home. So link above or opt-in form below, depending on where you're watching my video. So until next time, if you like this video, please make sure you like, follow and subscribe to my social channel. And there's some cool videos coming up soon, so stay tuned.